and today you're gonna get to know me better. Today I want to talk about my most recent life change, moving to Madrid, Spain, all the way from the United States. I want to chat about my experience so far, some adventures I've been on, and overall how life here is different from the United States. So today I'm at El Retiro, which is basically like the central park of Madrid. It's a really big, spacious, natural space where people come to chill, to lay down, to read, to basically relax. It's like a little oasis in the middle of the city. I am 24. I was born in Monterrey, Mexico, and I grew up in the United States for about 16 years of my life. I lived in El Paso, Austin, and Houston, Texas, and I went to university in Austin. I am a lover of music, art, adventure, and basically everything that has to do with culture. I like to take every day as it comes. I have this mentality of living in the now as much as possible, which is kind of what got me to where I am today, and the reason why I'm filming this video. So this story begins a little over a year ago when I was finishing my college career. It was my last semester. I was meeting so many people and trying to make the most of it before I graduated. Ever since I was young, I took school very seriously. I got super involved. And I got to a point in my college career where I felt like I never really stopped to question where I was even headed. This like metaphorical success that we all try to reach as we're like climbing up and up and up. But I just figured like I wasn't even sure where I was going, and I wanted to stop and really think about that for a second. Combine that with the fact that I was meeting so many European people from France, Germany, Denmark, Spain. I was getting exposed to like this new way of living, this new lifestyle that I was really intrigued by. Their whole perspective on things was way different than what I was used to. So I figured it'd be nice to figure out what life was like in Europe. When I was considering moving to Europe, I was between mainly two options, and that was the UK and Spain. And that's because I speak both Spanish and English, and I wanted to make sure that wherever I moved to, I would feel comfortable speaking the language that was home to the country. And I remembered when I went on this trip to Spain with my family when I was 19, I really loved the energy that the cities in Europe provided me, particularly here in Spain, in Madrid and Barcelona. People just had this aura to them that was just like so laid back and about being in the moment, and that really resonated with my way of living. So I was already determined that I really wanted to go. Combine that with the fact that I loved Spanish culture in terms of like I was listening to music like Rosalía, I was watching Spanish shows on Netflix like Elite. I was really certain that it was something that I wanted to get to know a little better. I was also craving a new challenge. I got really used to when I was growing up to like switching cities every now and then. I had lived in 4 cities by the time I hit 20, and I was at a point where I really wanted to create more of those experiences and face that challenge of starting from scratch again. So I set my eyes on a new continent and I didn't look back. I started researching how I could get to the continent, started looking for job opportunities or anything that would get me there because I was so determined to go. So then came 2020, and as we all know, the pandemic slowed everything. It was beginning to be super hard to find anyone that would even respond to my applications, but I kept at it and I didn't lose hope. I always kept coming back to this quote from my favorite book, The Alchemist, that says that whenever you really want something, the whole universe conspires in your favor and helps you attain it. And sure enough, with consistency, I was able to find my opportunity and go to Spain. So then 2021 rolled around and I got my visa in the mail. I booked my flights and I made my way to my new home, Madrid. Day-to-day life here is just on another level. People aren't as used to the luxuries that we are in the US, but just like the overall quality of life, I feel like there's a general focus on quality over quantity. The quality of life is amazing. There's not a lot of quantity in terms of like your house, in terms of belongings. Like people are a lot more about experiences than things. And that's something that I relate to and have been relating to for years now. So coming to a place that really sees that for what it is and sees the value of just quality of life is so rewarding. I've also been able to make a lot of friends from different countries throughout Europe and other Latin countries too. There's a very heavy Latin presence here. There's Moroccan people, Brazilians, Argentinians, a lot of French people. So far I've gotten to do a lot of things I enjoyed. I've been able to go to the mountains, a place called Sierra de Guadarrama or Cotos, several times. I went for the first time in February when it was like still snowed, and oh my god, it's like a beautiful oasis. For someone that loves nature as much as me, it was an amazing place to go. I've seen a live flamenco performance, which was like on my bucket list since like forever. The passion that like these flamenco singers and dancers have is just uncomparable. I've seen so much art. There's so many museums and galleries, and I've loved challenging myself and discovering a few more of these every week. The museums and galleries here are unparalleled. I mean, I've seen so many exhibits that I'm so happy I've seen. I've never lived in a city that had so much going on artistically, and I haven't even visited everywhere. I mean, I haven't even gone to El Prado, which is like an incredible museum, so that's probably a video for next time. My like inspiration has just grown steadily ever since I got in here. I've gained so many like cultural references that I'm so happy to have discovered at this point of my life. I've discovered lots of new music so far and seen some pretty amazing live shows, even throughout the pandemic.
Yo me quedo para siempre con mi reina y su bandera. Ya no hay fronteras.
I've also been able to travel to some beautiful places throughout Spain. So I know what some of you may be wondering, and that's how exactly is Spain different than the US? And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. I just want to set some main ideas that really differentiate the two countries. So the first one I want to talk about is the lifestyle. This is something that we see way too often in America. People romanticize Europe as if it's like this vacation, really. People love walking around the city and just sitting at a bar with their friends. It's so common to go get tapas, so basically like a drink and like snacks. The pace of life is just completely different. People aren't rushing to go to the next thing. They're not driving around like maniacs, just trying to figure out what to do next. People just like walk around and get lost in the city. People here really prioritize their lives over anything, so work is kind of like a secondary thing. I was so used to like the American way of living where like your work sort of defines you. It's like a label that people put so much value on. But when you come here, you literally are just like living your life, and people understand that. Also, the people here love the arts. And for someone that's artistically inclined like me, it's freaking heaven, honestly. Everyone here can talk about like an artist that they love, whether it be a painter, a musician, a poet, a filmmaker, a fashion designer. People here are just in love with art and like culture in general. Also, public transportation. Oh my god. Public transportation here is freaking to die for, honestly. Like, I don't understand why the rest of the world isn't like this. We have a centralized metro system that takes you anywhere you want in the city. You can hop on a metro and be anywhere in like around 30 minutes, and you don't have to worry about traffic or anything. Like, to think about all of the gas that we waste, all of the money on cars, car insurance, repairs, it's just like, it doesn't add up. I don't know why we spend so much time polluting the world when we can just have public transportation that works for everyone and that makes cities way more efficient than they are. So now let's talk about some things that I actually miss about the US. First of all, the supermarkets. Oh my god, the supermarkets there are insane. I miss them so much. I feel like it's something that I didn't value when I had it, and now that I don't have it, I'm just like, I want it back. The supermarkets in the US have everything you can hope for. They have food from every culture, all of these little specific ingredients. But here, supermarkets are so tiny. Since supermarkets are in the city center, they don't have a lot of selection like we do in suburban Texas, where I come from. So it's so hard to find a lot of the ingredients that I want. Like, I miss my sauces. Also, there were so many like everyday luxuries that I didn't value once I had them, like having a dryer. Yes, a dryer. Or AC, like simple air conditioning. Like, those are things that aren't as common in Spain and a lot of other countries in the world as they are in the US. So it's definitely something that I miss now. I also miss the diversity. I think it's one of the best attributes of the US, that it's kind of like a melting pot of so many different people, like so many different cultures, and it's something that I miss now that I'm not there. I had such diverse friendships in college. I mean, people from every race, background, personality, and while there's of course diversity here too, it's not quite the same. It's still a very Spanish-centric way of being, and in the US you can really diversify. And of course, this means that the food in the US is also amazing. Being able to look at Uber Eats and just like find a wide array of food options, like especially Austin, where I lived for so many years, oh my god, I miss that food. So coming from Texas, from very like suburban areas, I was so used to having like so much space, backyards, green spaces. And as soon as I got here, I kind of lost that. I mean, of course, right here, I have green space, right? But like, it's nothing like I had back then. So people here typically live in what's called a piso, which is basically an apartment. So a lot like New York, people buy these apartments that they live in as a house. So everyone in Madrid, or at least most people, live in a floor of a building. And it's something that is maybe not as normalized in the US as it is here, and that means you have less space. So I actually never studied abroad, and it's partly what led me here, because I got through my years of college and I realized I never quite experienced something completely new like this, and I was craving it so much that I made it happen. And it's super common that whenever we have big goals like this, we put them off, or we just never take it seriously enough to where we just like buckle down and make it happen. And this is one of those things that I knew I had to do in my life. So here I am. Even though I had been craving this experience for so long now, I wasn't sure that the experience would actually turn out to be what I thought it would be. While I knew some people in the city, I wasn't sure how I would make new friends and whether I would be able to really settle in. But the one thing I knew for sure was that looking back on it in the future, I would be so proud of myself for doing exactly what I set my mind to, and that I would be happy with my decision. And looking back on it now, I definitely am. Now, it's not all sweet. There's been so many challenges thrown my way. It's nothing that Instagram really shows, but I've managed to really tackle every single thing that came my way and find a solution to these problems, because I mean, that's the way we humans do it. But the life that you lead here as opposed to the US is completely different. My day-to-day routine has completely done a 180, and my priorities have shifted as well. I mean, I'm no longer worried by the same things I was, and I'm a lot more worried about just experiencing and not so much filling out a resume. Sometimes I wake up and I literally can't believe that this is my life right now. I know it's nothing like out of this world, but you just get so used to your day-to-day life wherever you are. You always daydream about what it would be like to live in this place or that, and rarely do we ever take action and actually go find out. Honestly, very few things in my life have been as rewarding as this, because I proved to myself that if I really want something, I can get it. And I know that that's not something I'm going to lose over the years. I've been so busy living and immersing myself in the culture as much as possible and having plans every single day. I mean, you may not have a plan for the weekend, but as soon as Friday rolls along, you're gonna have plans. It's still sometimes hard to believe that this is my reality and that my past actions were what took me here, and it's honestly so rewarding knowing that I set this big goal for myself and I just figured out a way to make it happen. I've met some amazing people, opened up my mind to a whole new array of experiences, and I'm just so excited with whatever comes next. I mean, every single day is a new adventure, and that in itself is so rewarding. So it's now been about 4 months of me living here in Madrid. I've experienced so much, but I know that I'm barely getting started. I'm so excited to start sharing my experiences with you. There's more videos to come. I encourage you to tag along, subscribe down below, and you join me in this journey that I'm in. If you like this video, leave a like down below. I'll see you all next time.